Hey, step forward, please.
Now, the next case. He says his ex-boyfriend kicked him in the park. The boyfriend says he was stalked.
You two were former lovers who had a falling out, weren't together anymore, correct?
Correct. Correct.
And somehow you both ended up in a park, the parking lot of a big park, at the precise same moment, right?
That is correct.
And then, Mr. Carr, you say that you approached the defendant to talk about a loan that you had made to him, a $1,200 loan.
Yes, ma'am.
And then there was a terrible fight.
That is correct.
And during this course of this fight, the defendant threw you on top of a car, caused $1,200 damage to your car or truck or whatever it was. You had some other problems, physical problems, as a result of being injured. I know that that's not what you say.
I had physical injuries.
That's what he says. Now tell me about this fight, sir.
Well, it's, as you say, we coincidentally ended up at this park at the same time.
We didn't coincidentally.
I'm going to get
Because
that.
I was there visiting two friends of mine who were witnesses to this assault.
You made the arrangements to meet in this park.
Correct. We met there, and we're visiting and talking and such, and he and Rudy drove into the park, parked a little ways away from us.
You went up to the car at one point.
Yes, we were there. I was there for...
You, not we, you.
All of us were there for about an hour. At about 4 o'clock, I told my friends that I was leaving to go back to San Diego.
No, he didn't.
And I got in my car and proceeded to drive out of the park and decided that I ought to at least talk to him and ask him...
You started to say confront.
To come up to him and ask him whether he intended to pay me back the $1,200 that he had loaned for me previous in the year while we were having a relationship. And he had never paid that money back. I had taken him to small claims court.
Okay. That's not true. So?
So drove up next to him and asked him, you know, can we talk? And he says, I have nothing to say to you. Get out of my face. There's nothing to talk about. And he said, you're never getting the money back. I suckered you, and you're a fool, et cetera, et cetera. Then we exchanged some other words. I told him that that he was going to be in trouble because I had reported this to his probation officer.
Tell me to watch my back.
To other agencies, which he is doing illegal activities against, such as Social Security Fraud Division. I've reported him to them.
What's this have to do with this?
Then what happened, sir?
I got out of my car, lit a cigarette.
What'd you do that for?
Because I wanted to get out of my car and smoke a cigarette. I needed to smoke a cigarette, you know.
Go ahead. So then you got out of the car. You had already said goodbye to your friends. You were on your way out. You stopped to confront him. Then you decided you wanted a cigarette, which I assume you couldn't have in your car.
No.
So you got out of your car.
Because I don't smoke in the car. And
right. So you got out of your car and you were standing there smoking a cigarette. Go ahead. You did.
He leaped at me. He grabbed me by the throat, slammed me down on the hood of the car. He then hit me in the right side of my face, in the eye, and in the jaw. Then shoved me on the dirt pavement in front of the car. At that point, I tried to defend myself and push him away with my foot. He grabbed my leg, my right leg, and twisted my leg, screaming that he was going to break my new hips. I had had bilateral hip replacement surgery during the relationship with him in January of 1995. At that point, his friend Rudy came out of the car, came around, and had to physically pull him off of me, saying
how'd you end up on the hood of the car?
He slammed me down on the hood of the car, okay. And then after that, pushed me on the ground in front of the car.
Now, you're saying as a result of that slamming, the car was damaged?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
$1,200? Correct. The same amount that you say he owed you from your previous relationship?
Actually, it's $1,138.
When did you get this estimate?
Some odd cents. It's an estimate from Pearson
Now,
Ford.
tell me about the injuries that you sustained, other than the ones that you said you had over here on your side of your face.
Well, here are photos, if you would like to see them.
I would like to see them.
They're photos of all the injuries to my...
You say you had post-traumatic stress and all that other kind of stuff?
Yes,
Your Honor, he didn't see the doctor 3 days later. He rejected
Mr. Tate, I'm going to listen to your version of what happened in a minute, because your version of what happened is different from his. You say that Mr. Carr cannot accept the end of your relationship and that he's been stalking you.
Stay tuned.
Get over it.
I've been over it, Your Honor.
Get over it.
Mr. Carr he's got a restraining order on me. This person seems to find out where I'm at 24/7.
He has one
Because
against
you're on a
you.
probation
He has
officer.
a restraining order against me since September 11th, actually August 22nd of 1995. This defendant has called my house, has been in front of my house,
That is
has
not
called
true.
my work. I have proof right here.
That is not true, Your Honor.
I have 5 police reports for violation of the restraining order from Mr. Carr. Mr. Carr has
They're
even
all
sent me a
falsified.
letter.
So he got a restraining order against you,
Right.
and you say he keeps
He
trying to
broke his own
contact
restraining
you.
order, right.
How do you
With-
think that
with
he
papers
got
from the court, Your
How do
Honor.
you think, Mr. Tate, that he got to this park, Griffin Park? Is that the name of the park?
Well, as he stated, he didn't even know we were going. Like he told the police officer, he told him he went to go meet with the suspect, which
No,
I'm supposed
that
to be
is
the
a
suspect. Here it is right
mistake in
here.
that.
Mr. Carr says victim lives in San Diego, was in L.A. visiting friends. Victim went to Griffith Park to meet with the suspect. The defendant literally came around, act like he was leaving, parked, I'd say about 45 feet away, then stood there for about 20 minutes, got in his car, decided to pass my car, backed up, and drove face-to-face with me. My car facing with the driver's side going forward, his facing in.
So tell me about the fight.
The fight happened when Mr. Carr opened the car door. After I turned to
And
face
so you got out and
my
attacked
witness
me.
here, we were sitting here talking. He was trying to tell me something. A few minutes later, the door flew open. I stepped out of the car. I told him, "What are you doing touching the car? You don't own this." Mr. Carr then was in my face. I then pushed Mr. Carr.
Okay, so you pushed him.
Yes.
And what happened when you
Okay,
pushed him?
after I pushed Mr. Carr, he came back at me. I then threw him on his car because he wouldn't stop. Mr. Carr rolled off the front of his car, hit the license plate, and on the ground in the dirt area. I then took my right or left hand and had it around his neck because he was kicking, he wouldn't stop. I told him, "Look, I don't want to hurt you. I don't know why you're messing with me. Leave me alone." I knew I was on probation. I didn't want to have anything to do with this defendant.
When he came up to the car and he spoke to you about some money, which he did, correct?
Correct.
Did he make any other threats to you?
The only threat was,
They weren't
I better.
threats, Your
He
Honor.
asked
They
me
were
to pay the money
statements that I
back. I
had
told him to take him
already
to small claims court.
reported
He
him.
told me to watch my back.
What'd you report him to all these people for, sir?
Because it is a civic duty to do something like that.
It's this way.
So,
because
did you
this-
have this,
because
just
this-
Mr. Carr,
because this
did you
man had
have this
also-
pang of civic conscience when you were together or when you
I didn't
separated?
know about it until after we were broken up.
So at that point, after
and
he,
at that point,
that
I filed
inspired
with
your
small
civic
claims.
responsibility.
The judge is
Assuming, for the sake of my ruling, that your stars joined that evening in the park and you just happened to be in all other places in the universe in the same parking lot in the same park at the same time, which I find a little strange, but assuming that happened,
It's the truth.
you, sir, instigated this fight. I'm not saying that you didn't participate in this fight. I absolutely believe that you sustained injuries as a result of this fight. You instigated it. You started it. I don't believe for 1 minute that you made these reports about your former friend as a result of any civic responsibility. That's a lot of baloney, sir. You started up with him verbally. And then I believe that you opened the car door, his car door. And I believe you, sir, that you put your hands on him first to push him away. And then there was a fight. Now, a fight doesn't necessarily have to be compensated. You two people had a fight because you're counterclaiming for $4,000. You were both wrong. You should have just left the park. You didn't have to get involved with him. You, sir, get over it.
I've been over it, Your Honor.
I don't
the
think
only thing I'm
I don't
not
think
over
so.
is him stealing the
Get-
money from me.
Get over it. The judgment of this court is you two people had a fight. You were both guilty. The case is dismissed. The counterclaim is dismissed. Thank you. That's all.
What is your excuse? Step out, please.
He says he gave her an engagement ring and he wants it back. She says all's fair in love and war.
Order. All rise. Order. Judge, this number was 60 in the matter of Weathersby versus Parks.
Interesting. Sit down, everybody.
Be seated.
Mr. Weathersby. Is that
Yes,
you,
Your
sir? And you are Chevelle Parks?
Yes.
Willie, do you mind if I call you Willie?
I don't mind, Your Honor.
Good. Willie, you're suing Chevelle because you say that you were engaged, that you bought her an engagement ring, you bought her a tennis bracelet, that's a diamond tennis bracelet.
Yes.
You lent her a VCR so that her kids could watch movies, that you took them out, that you spent a lot of money on her, you paid a lot of her bills because you were engaged to be married. So far correct?
Partially.
What's wrong with what I just said?
The VCR that I had brought to the house, she, I had brought over there too for let the children see the movies.
Right, well, that's what I said.
So I didn't give it to her.
No, I didn't say you gave it to her, but you brought it over there. So you want all your things back because you say that sometime in this relationship you noticed somebody else's, another guy's name tattooed on her chest.
No. The main reason is I just want the ring and the tennis bracelet back. She keep everything else that I've given her.
Well, why did you break up, Willie?
Let me say this.
Who are you?
I'm Calvin's brother. I'm his brother.
You're his brother. What's your name?
Calvin.
Calvin, why can he
No,
tell me?
I don't want to say this, though, because I can tell he's kind of nervous and all, but I'm going to speak up for him, though. The reason why he broke up the great engagement ring because she was lying. Her mother, sister, and family members, and me, and my other little brother, found out that she was seeing another guy, and she wasn't really true in this relationship.
Excuse me, do you know me? Have you ever met me?
Yes, I know you since you was... When I was
Have you
here.
ever met me?
Yes, I know.
Have you ever seen me since he's supposed to be...
Your Honor,
excuse
the
me.
reason why,
Just a-
because
Excuse
she...
me.
No,
listen to
wait a
me,
minute.
sir.
Have you ever seen me?
Sir.
You don't even know me.
Why, madam, I'm going to let you tell me what you know about this case. I'm trying to get it in some sort of form. Do you understand?
Thank you.
Willie,
You just
just a
took
second.
Hold
Hey, you want me to put you down? You have to be quiet, respectful. This is a courtroom. Do you understand?
I understand.
Good. Just, I'll let you talk. Willie,
Yes.
I don't want you to be nervous. I know I'm a little intimidating, and this is a little, being in a courtroom is intimidating. But try to relax. You say you were engaged, which means you asked her to marry you.
Yes.
And you gave her an engagement ring. Hey, sit down. You didn't sit. You gave her an engagement ring, and you asked her to marry you. Was it a diamond ring?
Yes, it is.
Don't do this. Excuse me.
And you gave her this tennis bracelet, which was a gift.
No.
What was the tennis bracelet? You mean you gave it to her and you
tennis
told...
bracelet and the diamond ring was an engagement, the process of getting married. Okay.
Now, you say in your complaint that you realized she was seeing somebody else because she had a tattoo with somebody else's name on her chest. Is that right?
Yes.
And then you broke off and you said, give me my stuff back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, your side of your story, which I've read, you understand it, is that you were never engaged to this man.
Correct.
That you had a boyfriend who was in jail.
Correct.
That you used to borrow his car on weekends to go see your boyfriend who was in jail.
Yes, and he took me.
That he took you to see your boyfriend who was in jail, right? And that you took these things, this diamond ring. Where is the ring?
I don't have it.
I didn't ask you if you had
Well,
it,
I
and
don't
I
know
said,
where it is.
where is it?
I don't know.
You're a liar.
No, I don't know.
You're a liar.
By this time, I don't know because I sold it.
So, the ring you took from him, the diamond ring.
I didn't take.
You didn't
Excuse
take.
me. No, Your
you didn't
Honor.
take it.
No.
So when he gave it to you, you gave it back.
No, I tried to. Yes, I did. That's what
Trying
you tell
to
her.
doesn't listen. How
I
can you
set it
sell
down.
something that you gave back?
I saw he wouldn't take it back.
So
He wouldn't take it back because I was tired of his whining and pushing. I told him, do not push me into no relationship.
So let me ask you this question. You took the ring, you took the bracelet. You had them because you told me that you don't have the ring anymore. Where's the bracelet?
At home, it's broke.
Is it home?
Yes.
Why
And
didn't
that
you-
was a gift.
Why? Why?
He gave it to
Why
me.
would he give? Why would this guy give you a
Because he
present?
asked me what did I want for Mother's Day in the mall. And I
Yes.
said, that is nice. And he said, okay. I knew nothing about no ring.
Let me ask you this question. How much other money, gifts, etc., did you take from Willie over
I don't
here?
know. I couldn't give you a dollar amount because
Let's start with a little bit at a time. Did he bring over a VCR to your house?
Yes.
Where is the VCR?
At the house.
All right. And did he pay for certain expenses for you and your children?
Food?
Expenses, I said.
No.
Willie, what is it that you paid for?
For one thing, I paid for some of the kids' clothes.
Did
I
he
bought
buy your
food
children
there.
clothes?
No, he didn't. He picked up certain things off layaway for me.
He picked up, what do you mean? He picked them up
I
off
put clothes
layaway?
on layaway, and he wouldn't pick them up.
When he went and picked them up, did he have to give him any money?
Yes.
So that he bought some things for your children.
Yes.
All right, just a second. Bird,
Order.
Bird, come over here a second. If he can't sit on his hand, sit on it for him. Any other expenses that you paid for her? Did you give her any money ever?
Yes. I had
Cash.
given her money cash.
How much cash did you give her?
Usually, I can remember a couple of times when I given her like $80 at a time.
Did he give you money?
Yes.
Why do you think he
Because
gave you money?
To go see my boyfriend, because I had
That's
no
a lie.
money.
That's a lie. You know good well I didn't know that.
Every Friday when you get paid. Yes, you did.
How you gonna tell me
Yes,
that?
he did.
How you gonna tell
Where
me
did she
that?
go?
You did not.
Where did she go?
Order.
Where did she go? We leave. I said I'm leaving
you
to
know
go
she told me.
see.
She told me that she's going to a girlfriend house, not to her man. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Willie,
She never told me that.
You knew that. Willie.
Don't tell me nothing. I don't want to hear
Did
that.
my girlfriend?
I don't want to
you
hear.
drove
okay?
me
I
to
don't
my
wanna hear
girlfriend's
it.
house?
You did wrong.
You drove me
You
to
did
my
wrong.
girlfriend's house?
If you didn't want to be with me in the first place, you should have never accepted.
Excuse me.
Okay?
Gifts
No,
do
I
not.
do not
Gifts
care.
do
I
not
do not
buy me.
care. I do
Gifts
not
do
care.
not buy
I do
me.
not care.
Gifts do not
You know
buy me.
what? I don't
What
care.
does this mean?
You
What
should
does
never
this
listen to
mean?
me. That hurt me, girl. I loved you. I loved you.
Love me.
Yeah, I loved you. Yeah, I did everything out of
You
past
love my
heart.
sister too? You love my cousin too? You bought
We ain't
them
talking
rings?
about your sister. We talking
Yes,
about you.
we is.
We talking about you,
I don't know
Chevelle.
what kind of, I don't know what you think love is. Love
forget
is
it.
not a diamond
Forget it.
ring or paying the
Forget
rent.
it.
Can I ask you a question?
And I told you that.
Chevelle, be quiet.
Yes, I will.
Good. Willie, I get the feeling that you feel as if you've been had.
Yes.
Okay. And that you're as much hurt as you are out the money for this stuff, because you're not suing, you wouldn't be suing her for the money for the ring and for the tennis bracelet if she was going to marry you, right?
Right.
You want to tell me in 2 minutes or less your version of why you didn't lead him on by taking this ring, taking this tennis bracelet, letting him take your kids to an amusement park, giving you some cash money, letting you pick up your furniture from layaway.
Because
Explain that to me.
I was not using him because, first of all, he came to me and was trying to date me. And I told him, I have someone I'm in love with, Willie. Don't come by my house
That's a lie
anymore.
again.
Every time I
Willie?
come home, Willie is sitting in front of my house or he's at my mama's house when I go to my mother's house. My mother liked him because he bought her carnival booths. He tried to buy my family, too. And plus, he went with my sister before he went with me.
Why
And bought
did you
her a
take
ring.
the money?
Why wouldn't any woman take the money?
Oh.
There you go.
The judge will return with the verdict in a moment. And later.
You were getting drunk every night, having multiple people over all the time, and always had your stereo on full blast. I worked every day. Crystal no longer had a job.
You see?
He's throwing it and giving it. What I'm supposed to
Just
do?
a
Beat
second.
him away with a
Just
bat?
a second. Now, Willie, you see what happens if you're quiet and if you're telling the truth? It finally comes out. One word. Why wouldn't any woman take that stuff? Now, what's going to happen is, I believe that you got taken, Willie. I believe she's probably got the ring someplace. And that if I sent Bird back here to her house, she would all of a sudden lose this tennis bracelet. And I think that you have to be compensated because I think she took these things from you under false pretenses. So your suit is for $1,800. Is that right?
Yes.
And the judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount
you,
of
Your
$1,800 plus the VCR tomorrow morning. Clear? That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. Step out, please.
Can we go?
All parties raise your right hands, please.
He gave her a ring. She threw it in his face, but now she wants it back.
Order. All rise.
Bird?
Morning, Judge. Be seated, please. Judge, this is the case of Pfluger versus Shadar.
Vanessa.
Yes.
And Dario.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right. Dario, you got arrested for drugs.
Yes, ma'am.
For what? Selling, possessing,
Possessing
what kind of drugs?
marijuana.
And you hired a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
The lawyer cost you $3,000.
Yes, ma'am.
And Vanessa gave you the $3,000 for the lawyer.
She didn't give it to me. She gave it to the lawyer.
She gave it to the lawyer for you.
Correct.
And did you get off?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were found not guilty.
Yes, ma'am.
So it was a very good lawyer.
Yes, ma'am.
So you were very grateful. You were very grateful to Vanessa because she got you a very good lawyer, right?
Correct.
So you owe her the $3,000.
No.
Why don't you owe her the $3,000?
I never asked her for the money. She gave me the money for me to come back from
What?
Chicago. She gave me the money so I could come back from Chicago.
Oh, Dario. I don't look stupid, do I? You said, excuse me?
I'm nothing.
You said she paid the money directly to your lawyer. How could she give you the money to come back from Chicago?
If she would pay for my lawyer, I was going to come back to LA. Otherwise, I was just going to stay and live in Chicago.
So far, you don't sound like much of a Prince Charming to me, Dario.
I am, once you get to know me.
All right. Well, you paid the money to the lawyer.
Yes, I did.
And how did you get the money? Where did you get the money from?
From my credit cards.
Okay, you still paying those off?
Yes, I have the most recent bill right here.
All right, let's get on to the second thing that you're suing him for. You're suing him because you want this ring back that you say he gave you as a present.
Yes, his birthday present last year.
And you say it was an engagement ring.
Correct.
And you say in your answer that she threw the ring at you when you broke up and you just picked it up and took off with it. Is that right?
Correct.
Tell me about the night or the day that he gave you the ring. What did he say
It was
to you?
last year on my birthday. We went out to dinner. He gave me my birthday present. I opened it. It was a ring. I put it on. That was it. He didn't say, oh, will you marry me? I didn't say yes. Nothing of the sort. No plans were made. Nothing.
Tell me, what did the ring look like?
It was just a solitaire diamond ring. It did look like an engagement ring, but it wasn't one. No one asked any, there was no proposals involved, nothing.
Which finger did you wear it on?
My right.
That's where you would have worn an engagement ring.
No, I believe you wear the engagement ring on the left.
I don't know, I never got one. Have to speak to my husband about that, Vanessa. When you gave her the ring, first of all, how big was this ring?
Half a carat.
A real stone?
Correct.
How much did you pay for it?
$1,300.
Where is the ring now?
It's in my pocket.
But you intended to marry her.
Correct.
And you were living together at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you had the ring on your finger, this solitaire.
Yes,
And
on my
then-
right finger, my right
left
hand.
hand.
Right hand.
And then you lived together for a while and then you broke up.
Yeah, but this is not how he got the ring back. What happened was before we broke up, he asked to see the ring. And I said, sure, and I gave it to him to look at. He was sitting there looking at it, and I was like, okay, can I have it back now? And he said, no.
After you took the ring, whether it was thrown or given or you were looking at it, you put it in your pocket, did you continue to live together?
I was already planning on moving out at this point.
Were you still living together?
I was still living there, yes.
Were you sleeping in the same bed?
No, I wasn't staying there.
No.
I wasn't staying there.
Is that correct, sir?
Correct.
Could I see that ring, by the way, Birdler? I want to see that ring.
I would have expected
Says he has
some
it in his
kind of
pocket.
reimbursement, like he could have bought some new furniture and maybe a couple of pairs of shoes.
It's in his car, Judge.
It's in your
I
car.
brought it with me, though. I have it with me.
Just a second. Where is it?
It's in my car.
Car's parked outside?
Yes, ma'am.
Go get it. I want to see it.
Got it.
Take a recess.
The judge will return in a moment. And later on Judge Judy.
When it looks as if you've got a sympathetic ear of the judge, it's a good time to shut up.
You're right.
Right?
Yes, ma'am. I
Right?
agree.
Order. All rise. Judges, this is a recall in the matter of Pfluger versus Shadar. Parties are reminded they're still under oath. Be seated, please.
The ring, if you please, sir.
If you can give the court like another 10-minute recess, I can go home and get it. I looked in my car. I couldn't find
Just
it.
proving my point that he's a liar.
Dario.
I thought I brought it with me. Everyone makes mistakes. I'm sure you've made a mistake, too.
No, you're just a liar.
Just a second. You sure I made a mistake? I haven't made a
Everyone in
mistake
this-
since 1947.
Everyone.
1947,
everyone in
I
this
made a
courtroom has
mistake.
made a mistake.
Dario, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. You know you're coming to court because she's suing you for, among other things, this ring. So you put the ring in your pocket. I mean, you look like an intelligent young man. You've done some pretty stupid things, but you look like an intelligent young man. Then you tell me it's in the car.
I thought it was in the car.
All right, let's get over the ring for a minute. Let us assume you had the ring. I just want you to tell me your version of the night that you gave Vanessa the ring.
Right. It was her birthday. It was a year ago today.
Where were you?
At the warehouse.
What's a warehouse?
It's a restaurant in Santa Monica.
Okay.
Took her out to dinner there, and after dinner, I gave her the ring. I asked her to marry me, and she told me yeah. She wore it on her left hand the whole time.
Did you give her the ring during the main course or the dessert?
The dessert. It was after the main course.
And you said to her, will you marry me?
Correct. It was in a flower box.
Was it in a flower
It
box?
wasn't a flower box. He said, here is your birthday present. And that was all he said until I opened it.
No. I don't know too many people that get big diamond rings for their birthdays.
I don't know too many
listen,
people.
a half a carat doesn't qualify as the whole diamond.
I still don't know people that get diamonds for their birthday and wear it on their left hands.
And I don't know too many people that give $3,000 just for the hell of it.
First thing we have is this $3,000 that she gave you, and she really gave it to you because you were arrested for drugs and you had to get a good lawyer. And you did get a good lawyer because you got off. So the $3,000 that she gave you is a debt that you owe Dario. You clearly have to pay her for that.
Even though I never asked her for the money. She did it voluntarily.
Listen, this is not a tea party. I'm ruling now. Now you have to be quiet, right? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you have to give her the $3,000. You used her $3,000. You got to give her the $3,000. So with regard to your first claim for $3,000, I am awarding you $3,000. Now let's get to the second problem that you have. The second problem is this ring. Whether it was a birthday present or an engagement ring is what's really at issue here. The evening suggests to me, and the beauty of the moment suggests to me, that Dario at the time was proposing marriage to you, and the ring was clearly an engagement ring. Solitaire, small solitaire, but a solitaire of half carat that you wore, and I believe that it was your understanding at the time that it was your intention to marry. That arrangement broke off, probably wisely, Vanessa.
I know.
And therefore, the ring is his because the contract is no longer the contract to marry is no longer in existence. So the judgment of this court is that you, sir, pay her forthwith $3,000, and if and when you find the ring, you can give it to somebody else.
I will.
I'm sure you will. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Step out, please.
Next case. He tried to hit on a girl, but swung a left hook. Should the bar pay the bill for the bouncer's counterpunch?
Your Honor, this is number 30 on the calendar in the matter of DiMartino versus Kaysen. Let's see.
Mr. DiMartino,
Yes, Your Honor.
you say you were sitting in the defendant's bar and you got into a dispute with another patron,
Yes, Your Honor.
that 4 of the defendant's bouncers threw you out, you were injured, you're suing for assault, battery, and your medical bills.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that about it?
Yes.
All right, so tell me about, first tell me about the dispute that you got into.
Okay, I was walking around the corner of the bar, which is right here, the corner of the bar, and then the door's there. And I was, there was 2 ladies standing there, and there was a guy over them, but I couldn't hear because the music was loud, and he was giving them a hard time. But I didn't know that was about, I didn't know any of the 3. And then I put my glass down on the bar. I was waiting for Pamela or somebody to give me a drink.
How many drinks did you have?
I had only had 2 light beers.
Go ahead.
I've been going there for years.
Go ahead.
All of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see a man coming at me with dark hair and a polo shirt, and he's just coming right at me, and he just attacks me.
How did he attack you?
He just jumped on me and started swinging, and then I just kind of he just jumped on me and started beating and punching. And then I just grabbed him to hold him, to leave me alone. I said, cool it, like that. And then I said, it's over, man, just leave me alone. I don't know anybody. Why are you hitting me? And I let him go, and I started walking out. I started walking down the corridor, which is right here. I started walking down the corridor. It's a very small corridor. The corridor is only about 4.5 feet wide, and people standing, and it's full Friday night. Saturday morning. And I was going to walk out the door. I was going to walk out. The corridor is very short. I can measure it. No 5 bouncers could have drugged me out through there. And then I'm walking out, getting ready to leave. And then I see 2 bouncers coming towards me, and they grab me and start pulling and jerking me. They start pulling and jerking me. And then I said, it's over, I'm leaving, it's over, I'm leaving. And I'm trying to walk out the door, and I got towards the foyer to walk out, and 3 more bouncers just blindsided me, sacked me, and ran me and slammed me and dragged me out the door and slammed me against the building and slammed me to the floor with 3 G's of force right on top of me. And 5 bouncers weighing over 200 pounds apiece slam me. They do it all the time. They have a history of doing this.
Just a second, they did it to you all the time?
No, they do it to every weekend. No, not to me every time. Every weekend they do this. The one guy watches episodes.
Well, let me ask you this question, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why would you go to a club
Yes.
where they have these assaultive bouncers?
It's a very small town. There's only 3 to choose from. And I go to this place because it's close to my house, and it's kind of a place where you don't have to really dress up. You can down dress, and it's a comfortable place.
Okay. And you say you were injured.
Your Honor, when I was drug out by all 5 men dragging me, I
Would
kept
you
saying,
tell me, sir, how were you injured?
I was slammed to the concrete by 5 men on top of me.
When did you go
slammed
to
me.
the doctor?
I went to the I went home that night and went to bed. And then I woke up the next day. I was very sore. I had called Pamela Carson, and she told me that she talked to the owner and said they shouldn't have done that to me because I've been going there for 10 years.
Could you answer my question?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you go to the doctor?
About 2 or 3 days later, on the 14th or 15th, I went to a chiropractor to get adjusted because I felt like I'd been hit by a Mack truck.
Do you have proof?
Yes,
of that?
ma'am. I have all the information.
No. Don't give me a whole, sir.
No.
I don't
Yes,
want
ma'am.
a whole book.
You want the medical?
I just want the medical
Yes,
piece
ma'am.
that says that you went to the doctor.
Yes, ma'am. Right here. Bailiff. Thank you.
I'm going to take a look at this in a minute. Okay. So you want them to pay all your bills?
I just want them to pay for the chiropractic bills. I tried to negotiate with the owner just to pay for the chiropractic bills.
What
I
is
didn't want to litigate. That just says Dr. Piran Castelline. That's the Yellow Book ad. I wanted to see it just in case we needed it because I didn't get it notarized.
All right.
I need this, too.
Miss Kaysen, let me hear. Your side. Were you there?
Yes, I was.
Did you see the incident?
Yes, I did.
From the beginning?
From the beginning at the bar.
Tell me what happened.
What I noticed right off the bat was John had the guy in a headlock, had him pinned against the bar, which is at my station number 2. And I flashed for the doorman to come and get him. And when the doorman
How
arrived,
was he pinned?
he had the guy in a neck hold and had him leaned up against the bar. And it was also Saturday
Mr.
night.
DiMartino, she didn't interrupt you. I don't expect you to interrupt her.
All right.
Okay, good.
This incident occurred on a Saturday night, not a Friday night.
Friday night, Saturday morning. It was Friday night when I got there, but it was Saturday morning.
Did you hear me? Am I speaking English? Did you understand what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't interrupt her.
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
What I saw was the crowd moving from the dance floor. I did not see who started the incident. What I did see was John with the guy in a neck hold against the bar. When I signaled for the doorman to come to the bar, they asked John to leave. John said he would leave. Everything was fine. Once he stepped around the corner of the bar, he became very combative.
What did he do?
He started flinging his hands in the air, saying that he would leave on his own. It was over with, stop. And then as they approached him a little bit further to move him down the bar, he became combative again. He knocked drinks over, bumped into customers, and once they got him to the end of the bar, they got his hands down to where he quit flaring. He was flaring in a wild motion. He's known to carry a baton on his keychain. I was trying to let the doorman know this, to watch for that. And once they got
You didn't see that, though. You didn't see a baton on the keychain.
Yes, I did. He had lost his keys earlier that night, and I had them.
But you didn't see at that point any baton in his hand.
No.
Okay, that's what I meant.
What I was trying to do was warn them to watch for his keys.
So then what did you say?
From the insurance company.
Then,
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt. I
well,
have a
then
statement.
don't. Don't hate to interrupt, just don't do it. Go ahead.
So they took him outside, and from my understanding that they all fell outside, he explained to the doorman. He understood it was their job to do.
Well, you weren't outside.
No,
when you
I was
explained
not.
that to the
I
doorman.
watched him to the
Okay,
end
you
of the bar.
say in your answer that he came back to the club after this incident.
Yes, he did. The next weekend, he came back to the club. I was in Station 1, which was a Friday night.
Is that right, John?
I came back to find out if I could talk to the owner, Bob, to find out if he was going to pay for the bills.
When you came back to the club,
Yes.
was the club open? Was it during
Yes, it
business
was open.
hours?
Yes.
Did you sit in the bar and have a drink?
No, I did not get in. They came up and told me I can't come in because I'm litigating the place.
Did you?
No, I did not.
So you're telling me from the time this incident happened, you never got back?
I came back one time about a week and a half later to see if I could talk to the owner to see if we can resolve the problem.
Stay tuned.
What is that you're flashing in my face,
May I
John?
approach a bench?
No, you may not.
I'm your neighbor, and my name is Al. It was lovely to meet you.
Daddy!
There's my girl. I'm so moved that you went to all this trouble just for me.
I want you to feel at home. Hey, Lizzie, while you're in there, grab a fistful of ibuprofen from my back.
Welcome to America, Al. It'll grow on you.
United States of Al. Thursdays on CBS.
What are you? Some kind of ex-cop?
I'm one you call when you can't call 911. It's equalizing you're doing. If you don't stop, I have to come after you.
I'd be disappointed if you didn't.
How many others are out there desperate with nowhere to turn?
They have somewhere to turn.
The Equalizer. Watch Sundays on CBS.
Who are you, sir? You keep raising your hand.
Sorry. My name is Donnie Foster. I was inside just for a bit, and I was on my way out when it happened. I heard it. He was like, the music was loud, but I could still hear him because he was over the crowd saying, I'm leaving, I'm stopped, this and that.
Did you see him do anything? Did you see him knock over
No,
any drinks?
I didn't see that.
I kept saying, it's over, I'm leaving. That's all I said.
That's what he was doing, and then the guys came up and they picked him up.
How many?
2, and then 3 came on the way out.
5 of these doormen, you call them doormen, he calls them bouncers. You have 5 of those people in your club that
At
you
this
employ?
particular time, we did have 5 employed.
Okay.
And they did not weigh up to 900 pounds like he states.
1,125 pounds.
Just a second. What is that you're flashing in my face,
This
John?
is the report. May I approach a bench?
No, you may not.
Okay. This is a report from the insurance company saying lies. If you read it, you'll know that it's
John
fabricated
was in
story.
the next weekend, like I was saying, and he had no visible signs of any abrasions, scrapes, nor was he in a neck restraint.
I never said I had a scrape.
He had a bruise.
I had a bruise the size of a softball on my shoulder. You're wrong.
We never
You're lying.
received any medical bills. We were never shown any.
Let me ask you this question, John. You have chiropractic bills, and you've been going to the chiropractor for a long time.
Right.
As you say,
As
as a
long as
result
they
of
wanted
this...
me to go.
John, you know you're a little bit of a nudnik? You may be right, but you're a nudnik. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Your total from the chiropractor is $2,060.
Yes, ma'am. And I have paperwork.
We
Okay.
never received, Your Honor, any medical records that showed anything.
They did.
from
I can
him.
prove it.
Well,
I have a
John-
letter in here from his attorney where he
John,
dropped him.
try to be smart. Listen to me.
All right.
When it looks as if you've got a sympathetic ear of the judge,
Yes, ma'am.
it's a good time to shut up.
You're right.
Right?
Yes, ma'am. I
Right?
agree. Yes. You
Good.
are right.
Okay.
100%.
The judge is ready to rule. Stay tuned.
Doesn't sound to me as if it needed 5 people to eject John from the bar.
It wasn't a total of 5. What happened was 2
2 and
walked in.
3. Sounds to me as if it was a
He
little bit of an
stopped.
overkill. I'm not saying that John isn't a nudnik. I've already said he's a nudnik, but I believe that he was the victim of an assault in your club, an assault that was not related to what was going on in there. And, you know, you're the proprietor of this club, so it's your responsibility to hire people who can operate under pressure. It's the responsibility of a manager or the owner of a club to employ people who take care of these hostile situations to make sure that those people are calm and cool at all times and are acting with appropriate restraint. It sounds to me as if the 5 people that you had working in your bar at that time were not acting with the appropriate restraint. I'm not saying that you were completely blameless, John. Do
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
understand?
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
think that you got your nose into an area where you shouldn't have got your nose into, which caused this dispute to start initially. Be that as it may, her employees did not act appropriately, and I think that you should be compensated for the chiropractic work that you had as a result of your injury. I therefore am entering a judgment for the amount of $2,060. Thank you
Your
very
Honor.
much. That's all. And I do so reluctantly, John.
Thank you. Thank you. What's the num-num? Ah.
Yes.
Oh, gotta love it. Victory. I feel like Mike Tyson after getting out of jail. Gotta love it. Thank you, guys. You were perfect. I couldn't believe it. I knew that I was right. I knew these bouncers are numb nuts. They come in, they watch episodes of Cops before they go because they couldn't beat Cops.
You are
because
so
they have the mental
flamboyant.
capacity to
God.
fail. And that's
Have
why
your
they
day.
lost.
Have your-
And this is the look of a person that lost and lied in court next to me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I won. I knew I was going to win. I exude confidence. I knew I was going to win, and that was it. The bouncers were dumb. I said, it's over, I'm leaving, it's over, I'm leaving, but they didn't stop. Well, that's what happened. I don't care. Well, okay. Well, they did. And these things happen, and people lose, and people win. And today, fortunately, I'm a winner. And it's all
I didn't have any friends, and she wanted to provide a nice party for me. There were no strippers. It was not anything risque. And he was upset because there were men there.
Did you come home a little tanked that night?
Yeah, I was very tanked.
Also today,
Because Travis can't be found, so I get the end of the deal. The tires on his car were bald,
So he needed new tires, and they didn't have his size tires or something, so he had to get new rims as well.
Cleaning up your language, you're in a courtroom.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Sheindlin. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is her courtroom. This is Judge Judy.
Party's on. Goldsmith versus Lubers. Step forward, please.
The prospective groom, Mark Goldsmith, got drunk at his bachelor party. Then he got mad because his fiancée, Kimberly Lubers, had males at her bachelorette party. The wedding is off.
Order. All rise. Judge number 51 on the calendar in the matter of Goldsmith versus Lubers. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Aw. You look like you belong together. You make such a handsome-looking couple. So, Mr. Goldsmith, you were engaged to Miss Lubers and planning a big wedding. You had a bachelor party, she had a bachelorette party, according to your complaint. And the night of the bachelorette party, you had a major fight.
Argument, correct.
And called the whole thing off. So far, right?
Yes.
You say that Miss Lubers then took a credit card that you had sort of held in reserve. You got one in your name, you got a second one for her that you put away. She moved out, took the credit card.
Correct.
Went and spent over $1,000 on the credit card.
Correct.
She says she spent the money, right?
Yes.
But she has a countersuit because she says that she spent a whole lot of money, including money for the wedding.
Correct.
That she's at, that you said you weren't going to pay for.
She never asked me to pay for it, Your Honor.
Okay. So,
No, that's not true, actually.
let's start from the beginning. What got you so angry, sir, that you came home, according to you, and said, it's off?
Well, when she told me that there were couples at her party, I didn't understand it. And I had already been feeling kind of, you know, insecure and unhappy with the, you know, that's why I said to her that, you know, I'm tired of being on the back burner with you and your friends. And so that's why I was angry about couples being there, and said what I said to her.
So you came home from your bachelor party and you found out that there were some couples at her party.
Right, it was all couples, correct.
Because I had just moved here. I didn't have any friends, so my matron of honor, she had her husband there, our mutual roommate, who was a male, his girlfriend, and another couple. And she wanted to provide a nice party for me. There were no strippers, it was not anything risque. And he was upset because there were men there.
Because it was couples there. I didn't, it wasn't because
Where'd you go on your bachelor party?
I went out with my brother and about 8 or 9 friends drinking.
Did you come home a little tanked that night?
Yeah, I was very tanked, to tell you the truth. Very tanked.
Did you say some things that night that you wish you hadn't said?
Yes, I did. And I told Kim, Your Honor, the next morning when I woke up, I didn't even remember half the things that I had said. And that's when she had told me, and I'm like, you know, I love you, I'm very sorry.
This isn't the first time, though, he had made instances. As we were preparing for the wedding, he had taken the invitations and thrown them in the garbage, saying, I don't want to marry with you. I'm going to Boston to be with my friend Gary. I don't want to be with you.
Because,
He'd
Your
also
Honor,
taken the engagement ring and put it in his pocket because he had been drinking, and he said, I did not deserve to wear it because of another occasion where I had been out with my girlfriend preparing for the wedding.
Well, maybe you're both pretty lucky. It sounds as if, even though you probably care for each other, if you can't resolve these problems, you're probably better off not getting married.
Right.
Until you can. So let's get down to the money aspect of it.
Right.
You have certain expenses.
Yes.
Because I'm going to take care of his credit card that you used that you shouldn't have. Right, Kim? You shouldn't have used his credit card. You knew that...
He had given me the card to use. My cards were
Your
already
Honor, that
maxed
is totally
out
untrue.
because
Totally
of the wedding expenses and the situation that happened. I went out and I bought some things.
Well, but at this point, you knew that you weren't together anymore. You'd called off the wedding.
We were still together at that point.
You had called off the wedding.
Right, but we were still in a relationship.
But you had called off the wedding.
Yes.
So, was it right of you to use his credit cards once he had called off the wedding? Now, let's get to the wedding expenses. What arrangements had you made with each other for the cost of this wedding?
When we first talked about being engaged and getting married, Kim knew that I had one credit card to my name, which we used up what we could on there for the wedding ring. So
No,
I told
you
her
used
that
half, and the other half you
Right.
said you didn't want to max out your credit card because
I
you went
maxed
and
it
bought,
out with that half.
Yeah, you
It was already maxed.
You
Where's
bought
just a second, where's the ring?
He
there
threw
is
it
no
away.
ring. When we were arguing, it's like she said, I put it in my pocket. I had a hole in the pants pocket that I had put it in. And after we had made up that day, we left to go to the grocery store, and that's when it fell out, and
But
we
he
never
had been
found
drinking and arguing with me.
Just a second, but you had the ring.
Yes.
He had the ring.
You took the ring back.
Yes.
So if you lost it, you lost it. You got to pay for it. That's your problem, as long as she gave it back to you. You lost it.
Judge Judy will be right back.
She decided that she didn't want to marry somebody who came home drunk and said a lot of nasty things. Do I think she had cause?
The prospective groom, Mark Goldsmith, got drunk at his bachelor party. Then he got mad because his fiancée, Kimberly Lubers, had males at her bachelorette party. The wedding is off.
The hacienda, is that where you were supposed to be married?
Yes.
Correct.
Did you put down a deposit? Is that what this
I paid
$2,800
for everything.
for?
Yes, I paid for the whole amount.
Had you agreed that you were going to split the expenses for the wedding?
Evenly.
I was already paying on one of the cards when we split
For
up.
the ring?
No. I was paying on the ring, the half that was on my card, and one of her cards that had wedding charges on it.
They weren't wedding expenses
And when
that he
we
was
split
paying
up,
for.
Your Honor,
Kim, listen up. The hacienda, get out the bill, $2,816. Costume connection. What's the costume connection? For your wedding.
that was for our engagement pictures.
An engagement photo. He wanted to do it in costume instead of just a regular photo.
You have the bill for that?
Yes.
Get it out.
I believe you did too, Kim.
I'm
Well, that's
asking
okay.
for half.
I'm not going to charge you for all of these, sir. You're responsible for half of the cost of these things. If the wedding broke up and you had originally planned on paying for the wedding together, you broke up, so you got to pay for half of the expenses for the wedding, not of every other thing that she's got listed here, because that's ridiculous. Because when you separate...
Even though she canceled the wedding?
No, sir. Listen to me.
I don't understand. I'm sorry.
It doesn't make a difference who canceled the wedding. You came home drunk the night of your bachelor party.
Correct.
You said a lot of things that you regret saying.
Correct.
But, I mean, you say correct. Based upon that, she decided that she didn't want to marry somebody who came home drunk and said a lot of nasty things. Right. That's reasonable, so she canceled the wedding. Do I think she had cause? Maybe. Whatever it is, it's canceled. So you got to pay half. She's not going to get stuck with all the wedding expenses. It's ridiculous. Come on. All right, you see? It would have been cheaper for you, sir, if you just let the credit card go, because this, I have a feeling, is going to cost you more money. Hacienda brides.
That's the wedding dress.
You have the wedding dress?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And it was altered?
Yes, it was.
Because you have an alteration charge here.
Yes.
The wedding day, what is that for?
That's gifts for our attendants.
Did you buy them?
Yes, I bought them.
And you have all the bills?
Yes, I do.
Okay. PJ and DJ, what is that?
That's the DJ that we were going to hire for the wedding.
And you gave him a $100 deposit?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Bonita Fine Jewelry, $487. What's that for?
That was his ring.
Which I gave back to her.
Which I do have.
Good, so return it. Strike that. Avante Gardens, $100. What is that?
The florist.
Richard Carr Photography, $200.
Photographer.
Mm-hmm. Alterations by Alice. I assume that that's for the wedding dress, $90.
Yes. And then there's on my visa, which is my half of the wedding ring, which I do not have possession of.
Okay, so you put half of the engagement ring on your credit card.
And he said that he would pay me back.
Untrue.
You mean you wanted her to pay for half of her
No, when we
engagement
discussed
ring?
these negotiations, Your Honor, we didn't say, look, you'll pay me back for this and you'll pay me back for that. You know what I mean? It was just like, this is all I can do, Kim, with what I have.
But you took the ring back. Yeah. So that why should she pay for any part of the engagement ring if you took it back? Do you understand,
Correct.
Mark? The fact that you lost it is irrelevant.
Right.
You did take it back. And how much was the ring that you put on the credit card?
$838.93.
Can I forget the cents on these things?
Sure.
Because because I'm not really good in math. Bert will tell you that. Now, Mark, do you have any wedding expenses that you paid for?
Other than the ring? Half of the ring?
Which ring?
The one that I lost.
The one that you have.
Correct. Well, I don't have. The one that I lost.
The one that you got back that you lost.
Right.
Other than that, you paid for
No.
nothing. Okay. Oh, this is a matter of math. All right, so half of the wedding expenses are $2,554. That's half of the wedding expenses, and that includes your $838 for the ring. I am deducting from that the $1,027. Mark, you owe Kim $1,527. That's all. Thank you.
He would have been smarter just to walk away with what he had. He had always felt left out whenever I wanted to do something with my matrimony.
Exactly. When John's coming
No,
home. When
it's-
John's coming home, Cheryl looking at me funny and...
John looks at you funny because of you, Mark, not because of anything that anybody's doing. Oh, yeah, I'm just an instigator, yeah.
And now, the next case.
Parties on Citron versus Vincenti. Would you step forward, please?
Zachary Barton was walking with her boyfriend when a dog came out of nowhere and a cat fell from the sky. She says Lisa Vincente should pay.
Judges number 72 on the calendar in the matter of Barton versus Vincenti. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
It's a first for me. Ms. Barton, you're suing for medical bills as a result of being injured when the defendant's cat fell on your head.
Yes.
The defendant's answer suggests that she's not responsible because people don't own cats. They just sort of live with them.
Yes.
So let's hear it from the beginning. Tell me how this happened.
Well, her dog is also involved. It was quite an evening for us. It was a Monday night, and we were walking home from our friend's house, and we just
Who's we?
My boyfriend, Michael, and I. And we just had to walk one block. We didn't have to cross any streets. It was a pretty safe event, we thought. And we got about 2 houses away from our friend's house, and this dog came charging toward us and scared me to death. I kind of hid behind Michael, and we kind of scooted off to the side of the sidewalk. And then we saw the owners coming toward us, the defendant. And they were walking toward us, and they didn't say anything to the dog, which surprised me. And I wasn't sure that they were with the dog. And I asked, "Is that your dog?" And they were walking by, and I think it was the guy that was with the defendant, and I think he said yes. And they just kept walking. I was like, "Well, that's really nice." And
what kind of dog was this? Shh. What kind of dog was this?
It was a shepherd dog, a sheepdog of some sort.
Is that a dog that you have?
It's
It's a 30-pound Australian Shepherd Border Collie.
Okay.
Yeah.
You remember this incident?
Not exactly how she says it, but yeah, exactly. I do
And the dog
remember.
wasn't on a leash?
No.
Big mistake.
He was on the porch.
He wasn't on the porch when he came up to them.
He didn't run after them.
Go ahead.
Okay, so they walked by, and we kind of shrugged it off, so we kept walking, and we got about 5 houses down, and right when we passed a porch, something hit me very hard in the head, and I thought it was a basketball or something. I thought someone was mugging us. I thought someone had thrown something at my head, and I mean, maybe Michael wants to tell, I kind of lost... I think I went into shock at that point because I lost the sight in my left eye for a while.
Judge Judy will be right back.
It seemed like the dog and the cat were in cahoots at that point. If the dog had not slowed us down, we would have been 5 feet further and the cat would have missed us.
Zachary Barton was walking with her boyfriend when a dog came out of nowhere and a cat fell from the sky. She says Lisa Vincente should pay.
Mr. Osteen, tell me what you saw.
Well, I was walking next to Zachary just like this, and something fell out of the tree over us and hit her in the head. I thought maybe somebody had thrown a basketball from the top of the stoop at her face, and I was ready to do something. And then I heard it was a cat. I heard a meow, a painful meow, and I saw a cat scurry away under a gate.
What did the cat look like?
It was, as far as I can tell, it was a little gray cat. It was very dark. It was about 10:30 or so, I think.
It was almost midnight.
Yeah. So I pulled her under a streetlight to inspect her eye, and I saw that she was bleeding. The white part of her eye was bleeding, which frightened me a lot. And I think that's about the time that they said, did our cat just fall out of the tree? And the dog came at us again. And this time I was getting ready to kick the dog or something.
So who said, did my cat just fall out of the tree?
The defendant.
Out of the window, I think they said.
Yeah,
I mean, it seemed like the dog and the cat were in cahoots at that point. If the dog had not slowed us down, we would have been 5 feet further and the cat would have missed us. The cat may not have survived the fall. I mean, I may have saved the cat's life by having the cat fall on my head.
That's true.
But
Thank you.
It's,
Okay. Now, tell me about the injuries that you suffered.
we went to the emergency room right away, and they examined my eye, and
Let me see the bills.
they said that...
Don't tell me what they said. Can't tell me
Okay.
what they said? I'm just going to take
These
a
are
look
just
at
the bills.
All right, Miss Vincente, let's hear your defense to this.
Well, whatever they've said basically is what happened. I was standing on the front porch of my apartment, which is 3 houses down from where she lives, around the corner, and I was saying goodbye to my boyfriend, and my dog was not on a leash, and he was barking when they came up. And we were standing on the steps, and he barked, and she screamed.
You don't mean Michael barked. Michael didn't bark. The dog barked.
My dog's a boy dog. He barked.
Okay.
And his name's Waco. And he barked, and she started screaming because she was terrified of dogs. And I recall saying, he's friendly, like over and over again. The cat, who was a very old cat, was on the stoop above and heard the dog and heard her screaming, and I apparently wanted out of the tree, off the stoop, and just
What kind of stoop
jumped.
is this? I don't understand.
Well, I live on the second floor apartment, and he's an indoor cat. And it was summer. I guess it was May. The windows were open. It was summertime, and he was outside on the little stoop, which is like not a patio, but a little bit of a narrow stoop. And apparently, he just wanted to get down. At that moment, he was scared from the barking and the screaming, which was going on, and he jumped. And exactly at that moment, she looked up, and he scratched her, and then slammed on the pavement and got a bloody nose and a bloody ear and ran off.
So why don't you think you're responsible?
My understanding is that you cannot own a cat and that you're not legally in ownership. Like a dog, if a dog bites someone, you are legally liable, and if they're injured, you're liable to pay for the bills or whatever kind of emotional damage or whatever happens with a dog. But cats you don't license, cats you don't, I mean, I feed it, I pet it, I've had it for 14 years. But there's no legal paperwork on it. And that was my understanding of the whole incident. So when she approached me 4 months later and asked me to help pay for the bills, I felt terrible about it. But at the same time, I didn't feel that I thought it was like an act of God. I thought it was the strangest, like the triangle, the Bermuda Triangle. There we all were. And there the cat jumps out. And I just thought, well, that's too bad, but I'm not legally liable.
Yes, you are. Sure you are. Let's say instead of a cat that, a little tabby cat, you had a little Bengal tiger cub in your house.
Which I believe you need a license for.
Some places you do. Some places you're not supposed to keep them anyway. Some places you don't. But if it's not licensed, you just have it in your house, and if that little Bengal cat eats your neighbor's baby, you're responsible. Now, you kept this cat for 14 years. Your cat. You feed it. You take care of it. You take it to the vet. It lives in your home. It's your cat, whether you're licensed to have it or not. You don't own and license children either, but if your kid causes damage, you're responsible.
Judge Judy returns in a moment.
It's in every respect your animal. Just because it doesn't have the imprimatur of a license given to you by the state, that doesn't mean it's not your animal. You've kept it, you've housed it for 14 years. And there are mechanisms, if it's an indoor cat, to ensure that it doesn't get out. And one of those things is you put a screen over the window. If you're going to open the window to give the cat air, you put a screen over the window so the cat can't get out on the porch. Now, if the cat fell and killed itself, well, you would have been very sad. The cat didn't fall and kill itself because it fell on her head. It's your cat. You have to pay for her medical bills. And I'm going to tell you something else. You're not acting tremendously responsibly with regard to your animals. You got a dog off the leash, and you think that that's okay as long as you tell people, he's friendly, he's friendly. It wouldn't be comforting to me if I were walking along with my boyfriend, my husband, one of my children, and your dog, even if it was friendly, came up and started barking. Your statement that, oh, it's friendly, it won't bite you, was not much of a comfort, madam. So you are responsible for these medical bills, the total of which, according to this, was $335?
There's two bills there. It was $495 with the $160 on the next day I had to go back for a follow-up exam to get my eye thoroughly examined.
Well, I think you're being very, very nice for suing over only for the cost of the bills that you incurred, because you recognize it was really an accident, but it was an accident that could have been prevented. It could have been prevented if you took good care of your animals. I suggest you keep your dog on a leash and your cat in the house. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $495.
All right, so excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy returns in a moment.
Well, I think it's ridiculous. How could you possibly be liable of a cat jumping out of a window?
Luckily, I wasn't injured permanently. It was kind of a fluke of nature and a funny story, except that the medical bill was more than I could handle at the time.
I honestly thought that I was not legally responsible.
I hope we can be good neighbors in the future.
Now, the next case.
Parties on Pappard versus Smith. Step forward, please.
Alan Pappard wants to be compensated because he was injured in a collision with Glenn Smith during a street football game.
Super Bowl party. Halftime. The boys are ready to play. You go outside for a little game of touch football. Take it from there.
Well, we decided to play a little touch football with our kids. I was playing a deep safety. There was a long pass.
Don't get too technical with me,
Okay.
sir. I don't know a football from a...
I was playing in the back, very in the back, waiting for someone to come. Saw the ball. I was going backwards. Saw the ball. Saw it was well over my head. Stopped, turned. Saw Glenn coming at me.
That's Glenn.
It's Glenn. Tried to yell to stop, and
you collided.
We collided. Went flat on my back. A couple guys I couldn't get up. A couple guys had to carry me into the house. Went to the hospital, then went to a clinic where they ended up x-raying my leg. We have pictures of the x-rays of before and after. The doctor at the clinic said I will need a surgery. Ended up surgery. I was in the hospital 6 days. They put 7 screws and a plate in my leg. I was out of work for 6 months. Couldn't work my regular job or my part-time jobs. And to this day, I have about 90 to 100 degree bend in my knee. I can't go downstairs very well. I have to step by step. Doctor said in the future, I'm looking at possible knee replacement.
I mean, I'm letting you introduce all this hearsay because it's really not particularly relevant to this case, because I'm certain that you know that there are some problems with your case, sir.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a look at the x-rays just because I'm curious. You have a son?
I do, yes.
How old is your son?
He's almost 8.
You going to let him play football?
Yes.
Really?
I would let him play football.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's terribly responsible of you.
No, if you consider the conditions you're playing in. We're playing in the street. We weren't playing NFL. It wasn't an Emmitt Smith. It was a Greg Smith. It was a family game. We didn't have safety equipment. And he was out of control, running down the street.
He wasn't I didn't hear anything out of control. You were playing a game. You want to tell me what happened, sir? Is pretty much what he told me what happened?
Basically.
Basically?
Basically, I was running down the street, and he was playing deep safety. And I saw him in the center of the street. I was running down the right side. And I'm pretty fast, so I I figured this is an easy touchdown. And I just kept on going straight, turned to look for the ball, and next thing I know, I'm on the ground. I ran into him, and we
So you both fell to the ground?
We both fell to the ground, yeah.
She's ready to rule. Stay tuned.
You were seriously injured.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's somebody else's fault, sir.
Well,
Did you ever hear the phrase, I'm certain that you spoke to lawyers about this. Did you speak to lawyers about this?
a couple of people I've discussed it.
Lawyers, not a couple of people. Lawyers.
One, I believe.
And so I'm sure if you spoke to a good lawyer, the lawyer told you this phrase, assumption of risk.
Correct.
And when you play a game of football, touch or otherwise, you assume certain risks. Now, if you were walking down the street and weren't involved in this game, and some other people were playing a game of touch football, and they came over and they knocked you over and you broke your leg, aha, that's a different story. Because when you're walking down the street, you don't assume the risk that somebody's going to come and knock you over. But when you play a game of touch football, the object of the game, I mean, I don't watch a lot of touch football, only if I'm tied to the sofa do I watch football. But I see all this falling over and hitting people and charging people in the stomach. That's what football is. If you went over and said, excuse me, could I have the ball? Nobody would watch that game. Men watch this game because it's a contact sport. They love to see injury. They love to see powerful men colliding with each other. That's what they like. That's what the game is. It's not jump rope. It's football. You were injured. That's a really sad thing. I assume you're not going to play touch football again. Is that right?
I can't.
Very good. This case is dismissed.
Might as well excuse you. May step out.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment.
I'm going to give consideration of letting my son play a game of football. If anybody can play any way they want to play, and with no safety equipment, I don't think I'll let him play football. I'll be very cautious of what contact sports he plays.
I didn't think there was any case, and she seemed to agree.
Just glad we have a venue where we can air our differences and be adults about it. I think it's a great program.
Case.
All parties on Brown versus Brown. Step forward, please.
Catherine Brown helped keep her daughter-in-law, Shauna Piper Brown, out of jail after she confessed to stealing from her boss. Now she wants the money back.
To Mrs. Browns. This is your soon-to-be ex-daughter-in-law.
Yes.
You say she owes you $2,000.
Yes.
For what?
For money that we lent her in August of '94 to pay off a debt to an employer.
What kind of a debt?
She had some problems with the employer. Some money was missing at work that she had to pay back. And they came to us. Her and my son came. And
Who came?
Shauna and my son, Brandon, came to my husband and I and asked for help. And the arrangement was made between all four of us for us to help her. And she was going to go to school. And when she finished school, which was going to be approximately 9 months, when she started to work, she was going to be responsible for paying the bill back.
And this was $2,000?
That was $2,000.
Okay.
I didn't even choose to go to school until...
Forget school. Let's
Okay.
get to...
I never...
August of 1994. Were you working at the time?
At the time, yes, I was working, and there was a situation. But the monies were loaned to us as a couple.
Well, that's what you say in your
Right.
papers. Am I gathering from what your mother-in-law says that you were working for whatever company you were working for, and they accused you of taking this $2,000? How much was missing?
I think that's irregardless at the time. I don't have an exact amount.
No, it's not irrelevant,
I
because
don't-
that's what she says the money was
I don't know the exact
for.
amount now.
Do you?
Yes, ma'am.
Step up, please.
We've got the confession and everything from the employer right here. It's $3,390.55 is what she stole from the company.
Now, did the company agree to take $2,000 in satisfaction of this $3,390?
She also signed another paper that said that she would make payments on the rest of it. on the rest owed. The original $2,000 would keep her out of jail.
Let me see the papers, please.
Judge Judy will be right back.
We were having financial difficulties. My husband had not been working, and we had a drug problem within the home, and there was a lot of money going to irregardless things, and I was feeling guilty. I took money from the office so that we could...
Mr. Brown, did you know what your wife was doing with this money, sir?
I didn't realize that she was getting it. In fact, my parents came to me. The employer had went to them and told her. She told me that there was some sort of situation that she was having trouble at work. Then her employer went to my parents and told them.
Don't tell me what the employer told your parents.
Right. Well, then my parents came to me and told me, and that's when everything came out. And to keep my son's mother out of jail, which I look back, I should have just let her go. But
according to this, Miss Brown, you were facing jail.
Possibly, yes.
So your in-laws helped you out?
Yes, they did. We were having financial difficulties. My husband had not been working, and we had a drug problem within the home, and there was a lot of money going to irregardless things, and I was feeling guilty. I took money from the office so that we could keep our home, and I wasn't telling him. And when it came down, he didn't want me to go to jail, and so we asked his parents to help me out.
Mm-hmm. So you owe him the money?
I don't have the money, and I didn't make an arrangement to pay it back on that date. And that's what I'm disputing, is I didn't make arrangements on that date. And they're saying August and, certain dates. Yes, I told her I owed her. I realized that, but I just didn't. I don't have the money.
In your answer, you do say, if any money was given, it was not a loan to me. It was a loan made to both my husband and I for the crime. And therefore, why should you pay it yourself? That's what you say.
I understand that, but in my own views and in the situation at the time, if the other situations that had been going on in our home, which are irregardless to this, we wouldn't have been in that. I wouldn't have been in that depression. I wouldn't have done such things.
Well, there are always excuses that people make for criminal behavior. Stealing is a crime. I'm not going to go into what was going on in your home. I don't think it's particularly relevant. According to you, it was not a good situation. I assume that you're both better off out of the situation. Yes, and I certainly hope that neither one of you again are going to be involved with anything that saps all your money, like drugs. Good. Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. That's all. Thank you.
Why does that excuse you may step out?
Judge Judy will be right back.
That's not the first employer she stole from, and just goes on and on.
There's so much more money owed by her that I'll never see. It's ridiculous. But I got this, and she finally had to pay for something, so I'm happy with the way it turned out.
Look at that! Wow! There are many cars here. Let's just stop playing. Okay. Wow! It's nice. Is it my turn? Yes. Yeah! Go! Good job. Here we go. Ready, steady, go. Full speed ahead. Ouch! Oh no! Oh! Oh my god! Go! Yahoo! Winner! I'm somebody! See you later! Cool. Nice. Good. Fantastic. Let's play together. Hello, friends. Hi. Wow. Amazing. Red. That's cool. Yeah. What's next? Yellow. I like it. It's so nice. Let's go. Green. It looks good. Let's paint. Blue. Good job. Let's do it. Purple. Awesome. Yahoo! There are many cars here. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Let's play. Wahoo! La 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 la. Oh, tomato. Yahoo! There are many fruits here. I can do it. Transformation. I'm ready. Okay. Go. I'm doing great. It's red. Yay! Lemon. I'm gonna do a little change. I'm strong. Yeah! Paprika. Hey ho! The drill is cool. That's cool. Okay. Go for it. Ready, steady, go. It's so exciting. Wahoo! Great! Yoo-hoo! Eggplant. Let's go. Good work. Change. Cool. It's so funny. Yoo-hoo! Carrot, I'm going to break it all. Look at this. That's great. Are you ready? Of course.